Am I audible? Any confirmation? Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. So, good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to distinguished members of the Research Foundation of India, our distinguished expert Dr. Kunal Suri, sir, and all participants. It's an honor to have you join us on the final day of the Faculty Development and Training Program on Systematic Research Paper Writing. Today's session centers on the essential topic of compiling references and bibliography. This program is a collaborative effort by the Synergy Research Foundation of India and RFI-CARE in partnership with SHO. We are proud to have the support of esteemed organizations such as Day-5 University, JHRF, ARGA, and Edu Academic Inc. It is our privilege to once again welcome Dr. Kunal Suri, sir, an accomplished Associate Professor of Finance and Accounting at the School of Management, GSFC University, Vadodara. As many of you are already familiar with Dr. Kunal, sir, from his previous session, where he imparted his valuable insights for hypothesis development and testing. So, without any delay, I request Dr. Suri, sir, to please begin his presentation. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Yeah. So just confirm the screen sharing. So, am I audible properly?
Yes.
Okay, so the topic for today is compiling, referencing, and bibliography. So the compiling, referencing, and bibliography is, one of the important aspect as far as, we are focusing on the journey of research and, when we are going for the publication part. So it is very, very important to give the proper justification on compiling, referencing, and bibliography. So it is very, very important to understand how to proceed, how to manage, how to inculcate. That is where all are important parameters that we all have to undergo as far as the faculty development program on compiling, referencing, and bibliography is concerned. So we must have to see to it because there are different formats, there are different layouts, there are different parameters for the compiling, referencing, and bibliography. But the most important aspect that we may have to see to it that we must fulfill all the criteria, all the requirements for the specific journals that we are focusing upon, right? So we must have to adhere to all the guidelines, which has been prescribed by the specific journals, right? So if the journals are having different formats for the acceptance, right? So we must have to adhere to that guidelines. The formats are vary depending upon the journal, scope of journal, the country from which the journals are belonging, right? So we being a researcher, we have to submit our paper. So it is our responsibility to take care on all these parameters. And according to that, we have to justify our literature reviews and all the supporting theories that we are deploying as a part of the research paper or, the thesis or research proposals that we are targeting from the specific agencies called, universities, journals, or there would be some funding agencies through which we are going upon, right? So that is where the important part that we must have to see to it, and we have to acknowledge that part in a very sincere efforts. So with that note, let me start with the presentation. So this is the flow of presentation that we are going to forward as a part of compiling, referencing, and bibliography. So firstly, we'll try to see what is the meaning of the referencing and bibliography, right? So how the referencing and bibliography can be differentiated. So that is all we will see to it. Then the next topic that we'll try to see, how to start the referencing and bibliography, right? Let's say if you're drafting any research paper, any proposals, then how to proceed and how to end with different aspect, different parameters, right? So how to begin with the referencing and bibliography, that we also have to see to it. Then the third part, we have to see it, why we need the referencing and bibliography. What is the reason that people are collecting referencing and bibliography? What is the reason that people needs the referencing and bibliography? Right? What is the ultimate purpose of having the referencing and bibliography? That is all we are going to see. Then we will also see to it the different types of referencing and bibliography, right? How many different types are there, right? As we have already discussed, there are different types for referencing and bibliography. Let's say APA style, MLS style, Chicago style, Harvard style. So which style are you going to refer, right? Because every style have different parameters, and based on the different styles of the referencing and bibliography, the parameters are also going to be deviated, right? So we also have to see how the different types of referencing and bibliography needs to be evaluated. Then, if at all I'm going for any specific types of referencing and bibliography, then we must be aware that every referencing and bibliography are having different parameters. And with the conclusion and with the inclusion of all the parameters of referencing and bibliography, the elements are going to differ. And according to that, we have to refer those elements as a part of the referencing and bibliography, right? So these are the various elements that we have to see as a part of referencing and bibliography. So there are different elements that we also have to see as a part of referencing and bibliography. Then we'll see to it the different formats which has to be followed whenever we are compiling the referencing and bibliography. So how you can make your referencing and bibliography to be on attractive mode, or if at all we are planning to have the referred, we have to refer in the future, right? So how we can proceed and how we can conclude on this part. So this is called the different formats that we have to see and look forward as a part of the referencing and bibliography. And at the end, we will also see the basic difference between these two terminologies that we have already used, which is called the difference between the referencing and bibliography, right? So many people are considering these things to be a common, but actually it is not a common. There is a difference between these two aspects. So we will also see what is the basic difference between these two aspects and how we can justify it, how we can give the importance on this aspect, and how we can inculcate as far as our research journey is concerned in our own theoretical aspects. So that we will see to it. So firstly, we will see to it what is the meaning of referencing and bibliography. So basically, the references typically refers to the sections at the end of the paper, right? We all know that when we finished our work, we have to give some references, some bibliography as a part of the completion of the work, or as a base, for the data or the things which we have, taken out as a part of our resources, which is the theoretical base for our own research work. So this is one of the aspects that we have to provide the address, or we have to provide the destination from where we have taken out this particular concept, this particular theories, which is backed by our own research paper, right? So this is what it's called, the references. And these sources could be anything. Let's say it starts from the books, newspaper, articles, journal, websites. Even if I'm taking the interviews of the person or any other materials which contributes in the development of my own research work. So this is considered to be the bibliography. So anything which support my study, anything which provide some backup to my study, anything which provides some certain ideas to my study. So these all are considered to be the referencing and bibliography for my own research work. Right, and that's why the references sections usually follows the main body of text and any appendix. Right, so whenever you go for any reference sections, so they always have the main body of text and any appendices, means the title of the research, journal names, and any other parameters which can help to fetch out the details of the journals. So this is a part of references. So each entries in references includes essential bibliographic information about the source, such as author's title, publication date, right? And other relevant details which are depending upon the citation styles that we are using. Like as I have mentioned, we can use APA style, we can use MLA style, or even we can go for Chicago as well, right? So this is the different references styles that we have to refer. Then what are the benefits of doing this aspect? So the most important benefit which I consider, when we are referring something, when we are giving the credits of the others work, so we always have to see to it that we are researcher, and we always do the research. So we must understand the efforts, the hard work which has been put up by any researcher for putting up any articles to be published into particular journals. So it is very important to give the credits to that particular person on that particular efforts, or the things which has been proceeded by that particular person. So it is very important to give the credit to that person, so that is called the most important benefits of the references. So we should always give the benefit to the respective person for the effort which has been put by them as a part of proving that particular topic, scenario, or things, right? This is called the ethics in research, right? So if at all we talks about the references, we always give the credits to the person. So this is one way to make the proper ethics into the research. So references is one of the most important parameter as far as the ethical research is concerned. And that is why you are giving the credit to that particular person, that yes, you have found out this and I'm giving you the credit on this particular aspect. So this is called one of the aspect. As I already mentioned, that identify research ethical, original, and significant. So this is through the references, right? So if at all researcher has provided certain references, certain bibliography, then we would be able to, in a position to identify whether this research is authentic or not, or there might be some plagiarism, or certain things which has been utilized by other researchers. So if at all we need to judge any research to be on the ethical ground, it is very important to provide the appropriate references, or the theories which we have taken as a base in our own research work. It also helps to find out in risk focused area. Let's say very, very important. This is at a part of literature review. So if at all you are finding out certain literature, certain previous papers, on the topic which you have done the research. So it is very important that you have the references, right? So based on the references, you can go with the multiple references. So it is one of the, gateway to reach out to the multiple researchers, multiple resources on the same topic on which you are making your research, right? So it also helps to identify the other researchers, to make a research community, to make your research to be on more fruitful ground and prove your research on both ethical and as well as on the scientific ground. Why I'm saying this ethical and scientific ground? Because ethically, when you are giving the credit to other researcher, so you are not taking the advantage or the credit by your own, but you are giving the credits to other. And on the other side, why I'm saying this scientific ground, because many a times we got confused, if at all we talks about certain research aspects, so we always got confused that what to take, what not to take, how to proceed, how to begin, right? So these are the basic questions that is always coming out into the minds of the people, right? So I want the answer from your end. If at all you are facing this kind of issues, then how you are incorporating the solutions on this kind of issues? Anyone? If at all you are doing research and if at all you are facing some problems, and how you proceed, then how you are going to do that? And if at all you are taking certain literature review, then what sort of things that you are looking for in the literature review? Anyone would like to answer? How they are
Sir, good evening,
mitigating?
sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, I would like to pick papers only from uh, journals which is very famous in the sense of they are. I don't know. I just avoid conference paper more, and
Hmm.
recent paper I will check from Google Scholar. I mean from 2024, and most importantly, I select for the maximum citation. Thank you, sir.
That means you are going for all the journals which have the DOI number, right? Which provides the references.
Yes, sir.
Right. So these references will going to help you out whenever you are preferring this kind of journal. So it is also your own target, right? That you should publish your own paper into this kind of journals, right? So this is also the another aim that you are looking for, right? So if at all you are looking for DOI journals, so you are also aiming that your paper should also get published into these kind of journals also. So that the most important criteria is to get the maximum citations on the papers or your own research work is also going to be fulfilled, right? So there is another criteria which is called the citations, right? So one is DOI, another one is citations. So whenever your paper get published and other people are searching for your article on the same area, so same domain, or for the same research problem, you also expect that maximum people should reach out to this particular problem so that they will get the maximum citations on this paper, right? So this is one of the aspect that the citations, right? So references also provide, referencing also help to identify the researchers, to get the other researchers work, to find out the research problem. And at the same time, once researcher has successfully published his own work, then he or she is also looking for the citation part of the research work, right? So it is also going to be helpful in this aspect, so that your citation is going to be boosted out, and your paper is easily going to be visible to the other researcher as a part of improving your citation part, right? So this is very, very important aspect. Then research cycle, right? So why references is important, so if at all you are not having proper references bibliography, right? So what happens is, you have firstly collected the article. Let's say you have, how many of you are going to access these Scopus articles, or if at all you are planning to have the access, how you are managing this part aspect, if at all you have tried? Anyone? Have you tried somewhere? Because most of you have find that if at all, even if you are finding the articles on Google Scholar, and the article is belongs to the Scopus journal, then this journal are not allowing to have the access of the full PDF, right? You can only go through the abstract of the article, but you are not having the access of the full article because it is paid one. Then how you are managing this kind of things, and how you make your research to be on the qualitative ground, to be more stronger, so that you'll also have the access of the other articles, for the Scopus journal. Because it is very important. You can see in this image, right? Yeah, before moving that, I want the answer. Anybody would like to answer how to proceed and how to manage this, troublesome situations in the research? Anyone? Do your institute is having the access of the certain portal for research papers for quality journals? If not, you can go for the higher, institute like IIMs, IITs, NITs, IISCs, right? This kind of institutes are having the access of the quality journal portal, where they belong. They believe that the quality research is must as far as the academical growth is concerned. So they are always having this kind of accesses. So if at all you are having your PhD work, or if at all you are planning to have some research work or research proposal for grant, major research grant, minor research grant, so you must have to access this kind of quality papers. So you always have to access this kind of benefits that has been provided by this kind of institute based on paid version, right? So but the charges are very nominal and it is bearable, right? 500 to 1,000 rupees for 2 days, 3 days. But you have, the ample amount of things which is required. But if at all, so whenever you are collecting those articles from the portals through physical copies and all such aspect, so you have ample amount of, library in terms of the multiple papers on the same topic in which you are doing the research. So what happens as a reader, that you have to go through the every papers, you have to go through the every papers, right? But, and again, with the papers, you are trying to write out something, right? So whatsoever paper you found out to be important or related to your topic, you try to, write it down in the PC, right? So this is the writing part that you are doing as a part of literature review, I can say, right? Then after writing, you remember that I couldn't understand anything. That is called rinse. Means what you have eat, you don't know how to digest, right? So what happens is, you missed out certain important parameters out of this research, right? So if at all you are not maintaining the referencing and bibliography, right, and simply you are reading the articles and you are writing all the articles in a way, then what happens certainly, after having, enough amount of dose for the articles, certainly you will forget what you have written, what you have done, and what you are planning. So what happens is, if you forget and you are speechless, or rather than you are, say, you are completely unaware what to do, what not to do, then again you have to repeat that process, right? So you will be in a position where you are completely feel yourself to be stuck up. You don't know how to act, how to behave, and how to proceed further. So this is very, critical situations to deal with. So it is very, very important that, during your entire journey of research, you should not put yourself into these positions. You must have to ensure that whatever things that you are collecting, you are writing, right? You must have the references. What happens to that is, even if you want to go again, let's say you are on the position of reams, right? Where you forget and you don't know how to digest. So you can reopen that part, you can reopen that link, and again you can go on that part and you can find it out that yes, this was the things which was happened, and this is the things that we were looking for, right? So you will be able to mitigate those changes. You will be able to mitigate, the things which you forget. You will be able to recall all the concept, all the methodology, all the parameters of the research that you already forgot, right? So this is a position of reams, right? So if at all you are going into these directions, so it is very easy for you to, come out, come back. So comeback would be possible when you have, ample amount of references, and at the same time they have been properly managed. Then only the repetition process would be possible. Otherwise, your situation is like that. You don't know what you have read, where you found those concepts, who was the author, in which journal they have published, what was the variable they have taken, what was the sample size they have taken, what was the research design they have taken, you know, how was the study, is it a primary or secondary, how the data collection has been made through questionnaire, through structure interview, through telephonic interview, through secondary data collection. You are completely stuck up, right? What are the data analysis tools and techniques has been applicable, how the objectives has been reframed, right? So everything which you have read it out, once you reach at the multiple articles as a part of literature review, there might be possibility that you will get confused, you will get stuck up, you will get forgot, right? And this is quite natural as a human beings. But how to come out from this critical situation? So there is only one way, right? That you should have a structural references and bibliography in your database, so that quickly you can click on it and the article will be open and you can verify that this was the there. Or even you can make a hyperlink on the concept that you are writing it. So you can hyperlink those link into that concept. So if at all you are looking for, some more bifurcation on this particular topic, so you can directly go over there, click it on it, and you can have the easy access of the data that you are looking for, right? So it is very, very important that references should be managed appropriately. So what is the benefits of it? So provide relevance, that is helps you choose a topic that aligns with your interest, the existing literature review, and societal needs. So if at all you have maintained the referencing and bibliography up to the level, so what are the benefits is, right? It helps to align your interest, means, that means if at all you are looking for some missing information, or if at all you are looking for some forgetful information, so you can easily go to that part and easily access those information which you have already forgot or missed out. Even if you want to go for existing literature review, or if at all you are looking for some societal importance of the topic that you are working upon, so if you need to find out, right, so this kind of referencing will help you out to provide the proper guidance on the topic which you are working. So it is very, very important that you can manage your references and bibliography up to the level, and you should not show the lenient approach as far as the referencing and bibliography is concerned. Second aspect is understand existing research. So yes, if at all existing research, I had told you many criteria for the research that we consider to be the existing literature reviews, in terms of, to find out the problems of the research, that is called the gap of the research. If at all we are looking for the objectives of the research, how the objective has been framed, how the different variables has been taken up, and based on objectives, how the hypothesis has been framed, as I have already mentioned in my last session, that it is very, very important to see to it that how the hypothesis has been framed based on the objectives, right? So, and these objectives also consist certain variables, right? So how these certain variables has been consisted, based on the current trends, and the existing knowledge, right? So all this aspect we have to look forward and we have to see to it. Then we also have to define the contribution. So obviously, I can say that, let's say you have gone through the IIM Ahmedabad library, right, where you have access to 200 articles of your own research work. But in your PhD, let's say you have to make a literature review of 60 articles. So what you will do? Can anybody guide me? If you have 200 articles and if you have to deploy 60 articles as a part of your PhD thesis, then how you will take the decisions? Can anybody guide me on this? What should be your approach and how the referencing is going to be useful to you?
We'll go for most relevant research papers and literature review only.
Perfect. Any other answer?
Sir, relevant in the sense means for my work or from the scratch. I mean, there will be base papers for our own work, right? So obviously, I will include those.
See, what I can see is, let's say you have considered 200 papers. So at the first instance, you are not in a positions to decide that, yes, this paper is going to this paper is going to deploy. So firstly, you will go for 200 papers, right? So out of 200 papers, you must have identified the 100 or 150 most relevant papers for your research work. And then after going to 100 papers, you must have idea that, yes, this paper is making more relevance to me. Then you will start deploying one by one as a part of your literature review. So this is how, the literature review, the reference is going to be help you out, but in the literature review, but only you can maintain this kind of efficient literature review, which is also called systematic literature review, right? Which is very in-depth analysis of the study that you are doing based on the support of the other researcher, which has already been contributed in the market, right? Because we must have to understand that we are not inventing something into the market as far as we talks about the research in social science or any other field, because the term is called research. We are not searching something new, but we are searching something new out of the existing concept that we have it. That means we are providing 0.01% or more than any of the 0.01% contribution to the existing research or existing concept, which has already been evolved by some other authors, some other inventors, or some others people, right? So we are working on that topic, right? So that is why it is very important to give the credits of them. But at the same time, if at all we are looking for, identifying the best literature review out of this particular parameter, so we must need to understand that we have to deploy all such parameters, and most importantly, we should have some base to regain those knowledge as far as the research papers are concerned to my topic. That means I have to reopen those papers as far as the research is concerned, and I would be in a position to reopen those papers only when I have maintained my references and bibliography up to the mark. Otherwise, it would not be possible. Agreed? Because research is a trial and error process. Let's say if I'm reading one paper at a time, then I would not be able to take all the decisions that I have to take it out from this paper. But I have to go through this paper 3 to 4 times, right? This is the first time which I told you that out of 200 paper, I have to go for first time for reading all the papers, because I need to decide which is important, which is not important. So those who are not important, I would cite them as a different way. But those 100 papers are important. Again, I'll read those 100 papers again, and I'll go into more deeper to find out the other parameters. And out of this 100, I found that these 60 papers are contributing more towards my knowledge, towards my, concept, existence, and all these aspects. So I can work on this parameter. So out of 100, I will fetch out the 60 research paper. And this 60 research paper is going to be the most important part for our study. That is where we have to define the contributions, right? That how your research should contribute to the existing body of knowledge by the previous author and segregate your originality of the work. So that is how you can define, that is called research gap, right? What previously has been done and what extra things that you are going to do, that is called segregating your originality of work and to define what exactly which has been done in the past. I hope it is clear, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
sir.
And the most important objective for providing appropriate referencing and bibliography is to give the credit to the person who has already worked on this area and due to which you are in a position to shape your own research. So never ever hesitate to give the credit, to the particular author who has already contributed in your work. You should be always keen to provide the credits to these people. That's where your ethical consideration will be proved and your research will gain more importance, more existence in the market, and the acceptability of this kind of research papers through these journals are going to be quite high. Because nowadays, all the quality journals like Scopus, ABDCs, they are focusing upon the systematic literature review rather than having the traditional literature review, right? So that is where we have to work upon. Structure your paper, right? So logical structure of your research paper, that should include, so if at all you are writing any research paper, right, and even after this FDP program also, you must have undergone the various parameters of the research. So you must be aware about that. There are 5 to 6 parameters that you have to look forward as a part of the research paper that you are looking for. So the first part is the introduction, right? The second one is the literature review, right? So they are considered to be the chapterization scheme, right? If at all I am talking about it, so then this is chapter number 1. It is called introduction. Chapter number 2, it is called literature review. Chapter number 3, it is called research methodology. Chapter number 4 is called result and discussion, and chapter number 5 is conclusion, right? So this is the ideal way, ideal structure of any research paper that we are talking about, right? So this is how we have to structure our own research paper also. And we also have to refer, we also have to collect those kind of referencing and bibliography which have this kind of scientific and appropriate structures. Otherwise, we should avoid those paper, because we should consider that this kind of research paper have not been, written, cited, or given an approval on the scientific basis. So we also have to see to it. So referencing will help you out that which research paper is on the scientific way and which research paper is not up to the qualitative manner. So referencing will help you out in this way, right? Use clear language. So clear, precise, concise, and scholarly manner. Cite source properly, so that ensure the proper citations of all the sources recognized by the citation style, which is called APA, that is called American Psychological Association, AMLA, and Chicago, right? And there are many other parameters of the citation that we will see in the later slides. Okay. Stay updated. So whenever you are doing literature review, whenever you are doing your research paper, right, you always have to stay updated, and that is only possible with the appropriate utilization of the referencing and bibliography that you have maintained, right? So if at all you want to keep it out, some advanced research, some advanced literatures, so you have to maintain your referencing bibliography up to the mark, then only it would be possible. Otherwise, it is not possible. Then reflect and improve. So regularly assess your research process and outcomes, and seek opportunities for the improvement. Right? So this is also, if at all you want to improve something, you want to change something, you want to make some advance something. So this is only possible with the appropriate utilization of the referencing and bibliography through the collection of into particular portal or sources. And for that, you also have to engage with your peers. Sometimes you are not aware about the good researcher on the topic which you are doing the research, but you should always create the research community, right? I always insist to all the people that for research, you also have the research community, right? If you have your community, you might have a discussion on the various topic, various aspect which is going on into the market. And this kind of work will ultimately help you out to define your community and help you out to engage into the peers, right? So that is where your work is going to be more useful, more visible, and that's where you will be gainful into the more aspect. Then collaborate with experts. So as I told you, if at all you want to grow into research, you always have to identify the experts in your area, in your domain, and you have to collaborate your efforts with that particular person for the particular work. If you don't collaborate, you can't grow, because don't consider that you know everything. Always consider that you are new to the system, you are new to the work, and you have to work and you have to learn many things on this part, because we all have not learned research from the beginning. Now the students are gradually learning, but when we were at the student level, many of our institutions are not having research as a part of the subject, or might be we have not undergone the hands-on sessions of the various research software like SPSS, MOs, R, Smart PLS, RN software. So many softwares are there to prove the research. So we have to be collaborative as far as this thing. So how to collaborate? Only when you are undergone with certain authors' works as a part of their previous research. And how you will get to know that this person have worked out on this manner? Only when you have maintained your records during your literature review that yes, this is the person, so I should keep them into this category. So how you can keep them into the category? By maintaining the appropriate referencing and bibliography for your own study, so that you can refer it to the future prospect and future aspect also. Very, very important that you should collaborate your research aspect into the experts way, so that you can enhance, you can increase your potentiality, and you can sharpen your efficiency. So yes, so citations. So whenever you are referring any citations, you are referring any journals for your research work, always ensure that you should get it from the quality journals. And how to ensure that this journal is quality? So so you always have to go through the various journal portal, like you can go for Scopus, Scopus journals, right? You can go for Web of Science, you can go for Taylor and Francis, you can go for MDPI journals, right? So these are the way out, right? These are the portals on which you will find out the important papers based on the topic or area on which you are doing the research. So you always go through these portals and try to find out that these journals is qualitative or not. And always ensure that these journals are always located on this portal. Then only you will go to publish your paper, or if at all you are looking for the referencing and bibliography for your own study, that you must ensure that these journals are having the referencing and bibliography based on this journal portal. If at all you are looking for Scopus, then you must go to the Schemago website, where you will get all the Scopus papers, journal names, and through which you can access those papers. And every Scopus ABDC journals are having their DOI number. Never ever forget that no journals of Scopus, ABDC, Web of Science, Taylor and Francis are without DOI number, right? So you always ensure the authenticity of the referencing and bibliography that you are collecting, right, of the journals, right? So they are also helping on this aspect, that whether this journal is qualitative or not, that you can also verify through the help of the referencing and bibliography that you have already compiled, right? So that is also possible with the help of the referencing and bibliography. So the role of referencing and bibliography is tremendous. The more detailed manner you will enter into this journey, so the more gainful insights you will gain it for the future, right? So you have to go inside to be more deeper manner, so the more and more insights you will have it for the future. So very, very important to understand this aspect, and accordingly we have to proceed, right? And I already mentioned there are various sources like Scopus, ABDC, Google Scholar, Web of Science, Taylor and Francis. So you always go to this portal and you can register. Just a minute. So these are the important journal portals through which you can go for it. Then why we need to do referencing and bibliography? So the simple reason to this aspect is to acknowledge others' work. So we always have to acknowledge others' work, because we always have to give the credit to the person who has already worked on this parameter. So it is our moral duty and responsibility to acknowledge the others' work. At the same time, to allow others to find the sources easily. So at the same time, if at all your research paper has already gone published, at the same time, it should be carried forward to the society for the future. So if at all somebody is looking for the referencing as a part of sources of your research paper, so it should be visible and it should be accessible to the others also. So it is important that you should also give the referencing to the your own research article by going through the authentic journals, so that people will have the accessible rights and they can easily refer to your work. Then to get recognition and authentication of the work. So obviously recognition means if the other authors are finding your paper to be suitable for their own work, that is where the referencing plays a role. That is called recognition in the society, that yes, your research has societal importance, your research proves out to be significant for the researcher. At the same time, whatever research that you have done it is authentic because it is approved by the quality journals and it has been successfully published into quality journal, right? So authentication is also going to be approved whenever your research paper has to be published, and it is going to be published into quality journal, right? So your work is already authenticized and recognized by the society. Then fourth aspect is to make work more informative, right? So if you want to explore your research, so the research paper is the best way to publish your, thoughts, idea, and whatever you have noticed into the society, right? And if you want to recognize that society that yes, your work is qualitative, then the referencing and bibliography is one of the most important parameters to realize that people that yes, I am the qualitative. And you must have heard about there are certain citation index like I index, H index. Yes or no? Have you heard about it? Have you ever heard about
Sir,
it?
yes. Yes,
H
sir.
index. So what is it?
Mainly H index. I don't know the basic, but if your H index is high, like for professor, etc., H index should be high.
That is called the number of citations we have received, right? Somehow it has a relation with the citation part. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes.
And how the citation has been cached when that person has referred you into the references. Yes or no? Into
Yes.
his or her paper. And how he would be able to, refer you or, cite you only when we have maintained our own referencing and bibliography up to the mark on all the journal portals, so that if at all people are looking for the backup or literature review for their own research work, our article should be easily accessible through the portals. Or if at all, if some person wants to find out, through any researcher by their own name, then they would be able to find it out, right? And if at all you are going for any specific journal portal quality like Scopus ID, Web of Science ID, so this kind of portals are having their particular ID, so if at all this person is looking for your research work, your research paper through those IDs, then this is also going to be accessible on an easy manner, right? So this is also possible that your work should be recognized and authenticized into the research market. Right, and to track the intellectual development of the ideas you present. Most importantly, referencing will help you out, to make your image into the market among the readers, that whatsoever intellectual development that you have done till today, so it should be recognized and it should be noticed among the society. So this is going to be help you out as and when you are having appropriate maintenance of the referencing and bibliography. So very, very important to maintain this, and it will help you out like anything if at all you are looking for your research journey. So these are the different referencing styles. So this is basically followed in third generation country. So in India, we usually write only the references. But what is annotated bibliography is saying that instead of writing only references, you should provide two, three lines of paragraph, right, about this article, right? And what should it covers, right? It should cover the authority, credibility, and usefulness of this article, right? So the readers will get an idea along with this, right? If at all readers don't want to open these references, and if he or she wants to get an idea that why you have cited this particular paper in your own research article as a part of referencing and bibliography, so he or she will be able to get an idea out of these 3 to 4 lines that you have described as a part of the credibility of the evaluation, usefulness, and authority. So that is where annotated bibliographies are going to use for readers and better understandings of the sources cited and their contribution in the research. Selective bibliography. So selective bibliography, we are always doing it for our research work. As I have already given you an example that out of 200 literature review, I have selected 100 papers, and out of these 100 papers, I have decided I'll not go to write all the 50 papers, but instead of going with all the 50 papers, I should categorize my papers into 60, 70 numbers, and then I'll work on this part, and I'll finally give the place in my research work, right? So this is called selective paper. So starting with 200, I have reduced to 100, and out of this 100, now I have reduced my selection up to 60 papers. So these are the most relevant 60 papers that I'm going to deploy in my research work, right? So this is called selective bibliography, or which is called the funnel process, right? I had started with this, I reset this, and then I end with 60, right? So this is called the funnel process, right? So this is called selective bibliography, under which there are certain parameters to get the selection of the particular articles based on the title which has been described. Then you can also make the choice based on the methodology which has been deployed, You can also make the choice based on the sample size, sampling techniques which has been deployed. The selection can also be made up based on the data analysis tools and techniques which has been applied. And the selection can also be based on how the societal importance of the article has been successfully deployed in this particular article, right? So these are the various parameters based on which the selection process is always going to be ups and down. But yeah, more or less, it is nearest to this part, right? So we have to justify those parts into appropriate manner. This is called the selective bibliography. Then subject bibliography. So what is subject bibliography? So it is focusing on sources related to specific subject or topic. So let's say if at all I'm searching particular bibliography on specific topic or area, then I need to see to it that whether this subject is easily identifiable or searchable. So based on that, I will find it out the articles that I need to publish it out, right? And this I can do it with the utilization of all these secondary sources of information, where I can get the additional information which I'm looking for my articles as a backup of the theory or the inclusions in the theory part, which is called books, journal articles, reports, websites, and other materials related to these subjects. So obviously, it is very simple, and we usually follow this kind of bibliography. That is, that locates the resources where you have taken up, and if at all you are looking for the further explanation of the resources, so you can always go and search it out, the additional information that you are always looking for. So this is what it is, exploration. Then fourth is exhaustive bibliography. So what is exhaustive bibliography? That is attempt to list all available sources on a particular topic or subject area, and it aims to provide comprehensive overview of the literatures and resources available for the researchers. And exhaustive bibliography are often used in comprehensive literature reviews or as a reference tools for scholars conducting in-depth research on a specific topic, right? So if at all you are looking for some in-depth analysis, in-depth coverage of the materials, data, information for the particular literature, so you can always go for the exhaustive bibliography, right? Chronicle. So chronicle means, based on certain serial number, let's say, if at all I want to allocate my bibliography or literature review based on the year of publication, so I'll always start from the latest to the oldest, or I can start with oldest to the latest. This is one of the aspects. If at all I want to go for the chronological bibliography based on year of publication. If year of publication is not a criteria, then I want to go for the alphabetical way of the name of the author. So I'll always start with the person's name, start with A and it ends with Z, right? So A to Z is the criteria for the chronological bibliography. There is no particular fit criteria that researcher has to always go into this manner. It is up to the choice of the researcher, availability of the data, availability of the position, and the fitting conditions that the researcher is looking for. So according to this aspect, the researcher can go on to further aspect. So there is no stick to the criteria that yes, researcher has to have to do this aspect in a monotonous way. So it is depends upon the researchers credibility, work, and the things they are looking for, right? So chronological bibliography are often used in historical research or study that examines the evaluation of ideas or theory, right? So this kind of research, this kind of bibliography, you can always utilize for the historical research, which has been already done in the past. Descriptive, so it's nothing more than that, but you just have to describe what exactly it has been done in this particular research paper. So after the references of the descriptive, so you have to just describe the basic theoretical aspect in terms of history, typography, bindings, detail, book history, year of publication, or any special things that you felt to provide to the society as a part of your research study. So you can obviously provide this descriptive bibliography. So what are the elements? Finally, we have to conclude it. So what are the elements that we have to look forward in the research paper as a part of referencing and bibliography compilation? So it should include author name, which is usual format is last name, first name, or name, right? So last name and then first name. Year of publications, title of research work, that is called title of the paper, name of the journal where it has been published. Edition means you can say over here is, let's say, volume number, issue number of the journal. So this is one of the aspect, like volume number and issue number. Periodicity, you can always say that year of publication and all, if at all any series of journals are there, or it could be volume and issue also. Series, in which series you are going for, right? So this is called series number, year, page number, or something like that, right? So these are the elements that you have to cover out as a part of the referencing and bibliography. So these are the different formats of referencing and bibliography. So you can see this. So this chart you will always get it from the Google Scholar, right? So these are the different style of the referencing and bibliography that you always aim for it, right? So this is MLS style, APA style, Chicago style, Harvard style, Vancouver style. So this is one of my paper, right? And according to that, these are the various styles of referencing and bibliography you can opt for. Basically in India, if at all we talks about as a research point of view, so then we are focusing upon the APA style. But yes, depending upon your requirement, journal requirement, you can opt for the other way of, referencing and bibliography. So it is completely the choice of the researcher, how he wants to proceed further. So you can choose your referencing style at any point of time in a way which you are wanting, right? So that is completely the choice of researcher. But let's see how the parameters are going to be deviated if at all you are changing your referencing style from APA to MLA, MLA to Vancouver, and apart from that, you have IEEE and CSE style also, those who are in technology background, right? So this is another way of making these citations or references. So this is the format of bibliography if at all we talks about MLA style. So here is the surname and name of the author. Then it starts with the journal paper title, that is called the article title. Then you have the name of the journal, volume and issue number. You can see this volume and issue number, volume 10, issue 1, year of publication. And this is a page number, right? 69 to 79. So here you can see this. Mainly the difference comes over here, this part. Right. So if at all you are going for MLA style, then year of publication is almost coming to the last part before page number. But now you are changing from MLA to APA, then you will see that how the things are getting changed. Now you can see this. The year of publication is coming here. Right. Now the year of publication is coming here in APA style. You can see this. Just right. And then paper title is coming, then journal name is coming, then volume and issue number and page number, right? So the year of publication went over here from here, right? This is APA style. Then this is Chicago style. This is name. Then again, if you move to API to Chicago, then again year of publication came here. But volume, it has been written like this, and issue number should be written as NO.1. Right. So this is one of the difference that you have noticed in Chicago style. Otherwise, rest of the things are remain same. Right. But you can see the criteria are moving here and there with the changing formats of the bibliography that you are looking for. And basically the difference between this referencing and bibliography. Right. So references means, items you have read and specifically referred or cited in your work, or list of the sources at the end of assignment will be headed. But bibliography is just everything you read, whether or not you have referred. That means we have taken the example of 200 paper, and out of that you have finalized 60 paper. So what about 140 paper? Right. So 200 can be bifurcated into two parts. One is reference and one is bibliography. So can anybody tell me 140 is referencing or bibliography?
Bibliography.
Perfect. So it is going to be bibliography, right? But this 60 is going to be references because you have cited, right? You have referred, you have finalized. But this is 140, you have just gone through it, but you have not cited, you have not referred, and you have rejected. But